All right, we are back on.
Okay, so shall we get to it?
Yes, we shall.
We shall get to the task at hand. Yes.
So, I'll start, shall I?
I think
Since I have the longest one.
for members of the of whoever's listening.
For members of
whoever's listening.
For members of the people who are listening.
The long and short of it is Anna is a true crime aficionado. She has followed a lot of podcasts.
Yeah.
She's where my knowledge of the subject is limited to my viewing of Only Murders in the Building. So
I see.
So I don't know much about the whole subject area. I know what crime is, but I know what true crime is.
I'm sure once we get into thinking of stories for this, you'll actually come up with more than you think you know.
Yeah,
and I'm keen is what they say. So yes, I am keen and eager to get into this. And Anna, I would ask her, do you know about this that happened in blah 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 blah? And she'd be, yes, why yes I do.
The good thing about my memory is that because it sucks, I am constantly being surprised by stories I already knew about.
I can't just, can you imagine? You'd be like, hold on, 5 minutes later, same story.
Pretty much, yeah. The amount of times I'm like, oh, I think that's sounding somewhat familiar. And then I'm like, oh, right, that's because I've already listened to this, or because I already heard about this one.
That's one of the many things we love about
Yeah, someone should.
So, we do.
We have to remind you because you forget. Oh dear God!
From the sharp stand-up comic relief in the room. Just saying. Anyway,
I think we're gonna need some sort of other recording implement in the room anyway, because we're going to need to record Scott's whips.
I'm telling you.
Whips.
I don't know if I can
Quips
start quipping
is
during
what
the
I meant.
mid-crime.
He will throw out quiplash. We will
100%.
literally. He will say something that will, change the room.
To be fair, we are a family of quippers.
Oh yeah, we quip.
We enjoy a good one-liner.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
I've learned it from the pros.
What are you trying to say? Are you trying to insinuate that I throw out sass? Only when it's needed.
I can hear the finger snapping in the background as you said that. Like, okay, not our sister.
Yeah.
I don't bring sass.
I always go back to because before it was a thing in the 80s. There's a film called Mannequin, and then one of the characters, Hollywood, used to do that with the triple clip, and he'd throw out sass.
All right, we need to go back in the room. I feel we're gonna
back to the task at hand.
Yeah, we're gonna need someone. Scott.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You need to be on it.
So don't just say any direct player.
You
direct
need to
player.
bring us back to the room.
I was like, it's crime time. Let's get on with the crime. It's prime time. Let's get on with it. And you guys are like,
no.
Hand warmers
Say
and
that
stuff.
again.
You know?
Say that again.
Prime time.
Let's go. I'm sitting up.
You think that...
Okay,
It's crime time.
All right.
That's actually now a catchphrase. Let's go.
So...
I don't think you can say that because I think
Jesus
Amazon has like a
Christ.
license on Prime.
Oh,
Yeah, but they don't
think?
own the word prime. That's like Paris Hilton trying to own the words it's hot. It's not a thing. Prime is a number, for example. It's a type of number.
Or
was
like
thinking
Hugo
more
Boss
Optimus.
trying to own the word boss.
Exactly.
Was
Like,
not
Honestly,
a
they
thing?
should probably
Yeah.
just have that at this point.
yeah.
No.
I'm joking.
But...
Amazon do not exclusively own the word prime. How dare they? They might own everything else.
We are not
that.
sponsored by Hugo Boss,
Or
Amazon,
Or Amazon.
Or Paris Hilton.
or especially Paris Hilton.
Yeah.
We're not sponsored by nobody.
Yeah, right. So, it's prime time.
Right.
Let's get on.
So,
You started that.
I
Anyway.
have... this is a very familiar one to me. It's very famous in Portugal. Pretty much anyone will know about it, or at least some version of it. and I spent quite a bit of time researching and looking into it, and I found out a lot of information that I didn't actually know about it, and my sources were Wikipedia, our good friend Wikipedia, and as well as the website of Torre do Tombo, which is where a lot of Portuguese archives live. Historical archives live. And that's where a lot of my information comes from.
Valid. How far back do these archives go on there? Is it like
historical,
years?
like to kings and queens.
Wow. Yeah.
So
they used to have them over there.
Oh yes.
Just you're pointing that out.
I'm pretty sure they used to have them a lot of places.
Yeah, most of Europe.
It was kind of a fad.
It was a fad.
It really was. It really was.
The cool thing about Portugal is that it started because some guy decided that he was now king of Portugal. It wasn't decided by anyone else.
We've seen that before, Caesar.
He just decided one day that he was going to, be crowned king of Portugal. And thankfully, he had a strong enough relationship with, the religious powers that be. And anyway, I'm getting off topic.
So for the for the youngins in the audience, don't let this discourage you. Don't let this enthuse you. You can be anything.
Anything you want to be.
King of Portugal.
I mean, don't try that right now, because trust me, you don't want to.
No, but that's not the point. You can be anything.
Maybe I shouldn't say stuff like that, because I feel like I might be disowned by my own country.
I was about to say we're setting up for the next dictatorship.
Yeah, we're saying you can be anything on the Murder podcast channel.
Don't be that.
Don't be that.
Don't be that. Don't be that
one.
That's wrong.
Big no.
To be fair, we're not just discussing murder specifically. We're discussing crimes in general. But yeah, don't be one of those either.
Yeah, don't be one of those, because crime doesn't pay unless you're talking about it. There you go. So,
well, to be fair, I think there's a lot of criminals that would argue that crime does pay a lot. But, but again, we are not encouraging anyone to become a criminal.
No. If you've any ideas of raiding the Louvre, it's already been done. Leave it alone.
That's true.
Leave it alone. Don't do that.
True.
Don't do that. So,
right. So, I'm talking about a king of Portugal, Dom Pedro I.
Okay. Do I get to say that with an English accent? Hey, it's Dom Pedro.
Yeah, if you want to.
I'm going to be honest, I don't think my tongue can contort to make the noise that you do.
You can call him Pedro, you can call him Peter, you can call him whatever you want.
I can't call him Peter. My sister's got a boyfriend with that name.
Peter. Oh.
Yeah. It sounds too chubbish. I'm going to call him Pedro. I'm going to go that way.
Okay,
yeah.
Fair enough.
Or I'm just going to call him the Don. Sorry, anyway.
There's a lot of Portuguese kings that were that, as well as Spanish kings as well.
Oh, it's kind of like a title thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like saying king or lord.
Yeah. His Highness. Kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
HRH. Anyway, so most of what we know of him and his reign comes from chronicles written by Fernão Lopes. Now, the Portuguese names that I will say are not going to be a problem for me to pronounce, but there will be a lot of Spanish names. And I apologize in advance if anyone, God knows if anyone's ever going to listen to this, but if anyone Spanish or of Spanish descent hears me pronounce them terribly, I apologize in advance. I am Portuguese, I have a Portuguese accent, and I have lived in the UK for 20 years, and my accent is a mix, and I can't always pronounce things correctly. But anyway, moving on. So, with that disclaimer said, so most of our information comes from chronicles written by Fernão Lopes, who gathered his information from the books of Dom Pedro's chancellery, the records of the 1361 courts of Elvish, not Elvis, Elvish.
I'm British, and even I had to pronounce that one just to make sure, because everybody's going to be like, oh, the king. Yeah, anyway.
ELVAS.
Not elves.
It's a
That's
place,
Father Christmas.
It's a place. All Lord of the Rings. It's a place.
Yeah. Anyway,
it's a place in Portugal. Anyway, news. He also took his information from news of royal sentences recorded in archives, so like sentencing kind of thing, as well as general public opinion of Dom Pedro.
okay. I'm curious to know what this guy did.
So, I debated doing this one because most of what there is legend.
I love a bit of
It's
legend.
kind of like King Arthur.
Ooh.
Except he actually, there's records that this guy actually existed.
Okay.
Like, it's less that he's a legend and more that what happens in this story is legend.
It's a bit like Michael Jackson.
Kind of.
Yeah. Okay. So I went off. Anyway, carry on.
Whether or not it actually happened in the way that they say it did is questionable. It's still being debated to this day, I think, by many people. I say many people, by some people. But I thought it would be interesting enough, and since we don't know whether this one is ever going to go out or not, I thought it would be an interesting one to start with. I don't necessarily feel bad if it doesn't end up on the podcast.
Valid.
This feels like pilot episode material.
It really does. Doesn't it? It really does.
We've got Portuguese King Arthur and no spoilers.
Yeah, I can. Mine on the flip is it's about an individual, but she deserves to be remembered. That's where I'm gonna go. So,
because with this one, because it's so big in Portugal, and for the reasons that I don't know how much it counts as like a murder or a crime. Like, I don't know what parts of it are real, what parts aren't. So because of all of that, I don't know. I thought I would go with this one because, again, when we first started talking about this, we didn't know if this one was going to air or not.
Mm.
So, yeah, I thought I'd go with a big one, but
not one that you're afraid to lose.
yeah. Also, because it's so big, we specifically talked about how we kind of wanted ours to be like obscure ones.
Yes.
So because of that, I decided to go with this one. Anyway, all of that said, Dom Pedro I was born in Coimbra on the 18th of April, 1320, to Dom Afonso and Beatriz de Castela, de Castilla, for our Spanish listeners, which I'm sure there will be many. He was the fourth out of 7 children, most of whom died in infancy.
Because that's what happened back then.
As was customary back then. Which is why he later became king, despite not being the firstborn.
There's a Henry out there over here who was like that.
Yes, there
And he
was.
started a new church.
Yeah, what's the score then?
What?
Alright, kid.
How's your wife? Anyway.
Which one?
I was trying to say that. Which one?
We don't know much about his infancy, other than at 6 years old, shortly after his father ascended the crown, Peter was granted a retinue of 6 people, including his butler and tutor, Lopo Fernandes Pacheco. I dare you to say that.
Do you want me to say it slowly?
Lobo Fernandes Prosecco. That sounds like wine.
Very, very close.
That
Very
sounds
good.
like wine.
Very good.
Bit of bubbly. Yeah, I'll have that. I'll have a Prosecco. I can't do.
Not
A
prosecco.
bit of bubbly.
Not prosecco. Prosecco. Also, we are not encouraging people to drink.
No. That's my vice, not anybody else's. Anyway.
I think a lot of people share that vice, but
Don't do it. Don't. Hang on. I can't. Don't do it unless you're legally allowed. And then
Yeah, I
it's
feel
your
like
judgment.
people listening to this podcast would be of age to drink because
I hope so.
No,
God, I hope so.
Not only would they be of age, but at this point, I think they'd be very motivated.
Yeah.
They're like, I just need a glass of wine with it. No, not encouraging it. Don't do it. Unless you're legally... I've said this 5 seconds ago. Right,
Anyway, we also... we need to corral this sometimes.
No, we don't. No, go on, anyway.
We also know that by 1335, at 15 years of age, he was living in his own home.
Nice.
At 15 years old.
He's doing better than me.
I know. He's doing
Bell.
better than many of us.
Window.
Cost of living crisis. Anyway,
Oh, is Maria giving you trouble?
She won't stand up straight, and I feel really bad.
I think
I
she's
feel
had
like
enough.
Maria's going to be a full part of this podcast.
Oh yeah. Can
How do you
can-
solve a
can you
problem
do
like
a
Maria?
voice? Actually,
Hi.
I'm absolutely not going to do a voice for Maria. She's silent. She's a silent participant. Please. Jesus Christ. Anyway, according to the chronicles, he was known for having a stammer and epilepsy. Fits of epilepsy, I should say. For his taste for hunting and good food, his love of parties and music, and his way of counteracting insomnia by having folk music played and calling commoners to dance with him in the street.
what a dude.
So he was a partier.
Yeah.
He was all about party, party, party.
How did you get around the fact you struggle speaking? You just dance, fella.
Unfortunately, regarding his psyche, they mention exultant and violent passions, explosive wraths, and excuse my computer as it blacks out, explosive wraths, and various perversions.
Oh my god, this is Joffrey Baratheon.
Yes.
But Portuguese. This is horrifying.
Yes.
Good god.
Right there.
So, strap in, we're in for a wild ride.
Did you hear that, Maria? Yeah.
So, Maria, should I say who Maria is, or should I just leave it as legend?
Let's
Legend of the podcast.
invite. If we put this one up as any kind of pilot episode, let's invite the viewers, the listeners to ask the question: what is Maria?
Or,
Guesses in the comments, please.
alright,
She didn't just say hi. That was me.
yeah.
Voicing her.
I,
We really need to get on to Pedro.
Right,
Before
so-
I carry on.
So, in October 1327, Peter's first betrothal was negotiated alongside his sister Maria's to first cousins Blanca de Castilla and Alfonso the 11th
11 times that
Um,
happened.
the 11th de Castilla. Oh, they were big proponents of, like, repeated names. There was, like, a Philip, period where all of them were called Philippe.
And we, of course, over here in
It's
the UK,
called-
don't do that at all, Charles III.
It
it's
must be
actually
torture for
called-
historians. You got like 17 Philippes in the same time period, and you don't
It's
know who's
actually
We've got
called
like
Philippe,
9 Henrys.
the Philippe era.
Really?
It's
Wow.
actually
Wow.
called the Philippine
It's like having a
era.
dynasty.
I did not
or
know that.
dynasty. Is it dynasty?
Yeah, dynasty. I don't think.
It's like having a dynasty. Yeah, wow.
But yeah, so they were betrothed. Him and his sister were betrothed to first cousins Blanca and Alfonso de Castilla, respectively. And I've got I'm assuming if this goes up, this will be up at this point, but there's a relationship. I've created a relationship map that doesn't even have all of the people in the relationship of the two cousins. Anyway.
We're not promoting incest here.
Absolutely not.
When she says relationship with the two cousins, that's not what she means.
No.
Just saying.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
But there was that before them. They're not one of the cases in which that happened.
Pray continue.
Right, so Blanca was taken to Portugal, where she resided for 8 years, to be raised there until she was of age for marriage. According to Fernão Lopes, that's going to happen so often. I'm going to be switching accents so quickly because I'm having to go
Flitting between one.
From English with an English pronunciation to Portuguese with a Portuguese pronunciation, and then Spanish with a Spanish pronunciation. Anyway, this is going to be interesting.
Let's go.
So, according to Fernão Lopes, during her stay, she began to show signs of illness and defects of judgment, which made her unsuitable for marriage and for procreation. She was examined by physicians, including those sent by Alfonso XI, who confirmed her weak mental health and incapacity. So it's not just like Portuguese royalty going, we don't want her, let's come up with something. They actually got their own people to confirm this was a thing. They confirmed her weak mental health and incapacity, and because of Pedro's refusal and the evident mental disorder of Blanca,
excuse me, sorry.
God bless you.
Thank you.
So because Pedro refused to marry her and because of her mental health decline, the proposed marriage never took place. However, Pedro's sister Maria and Alfonso's wedding went ahead. Okay. So Alfonso, the king of Spain.
Yeah.
Of Castilla, I should say, not Spain.
Yeah.
Maria and Alfonso's wedding went ahead. However, soon after their marriage, Alfonso began a long affair with the beautiful and newly widowed Leonor de Guzman. Maria bore Alfonso a son in 1334, who ultimately became Pedro I de Castilla. But after Alfonso refused to end his affair, Maria returned home to Portugal in 1335.
Okay.
Alfonso had been married once before to his cousin's daughter, Constanza Manuel, granddaughter of Jaime II de Aragon. There's going to be a lot of name dropping, so bear with me. Alfonso had the marriage annulled in 1327 after only 2 years to clear the way for marriage to Maria.
Okay.
So he was married before, but in order to marry Maria, he annulled the previous marriage.
He dropped the last one like a hot potato.
Now, remember the name Constanza Manuel, because she will become relevant again.
Okay.
So this angered his cousin and Constanza's father, Don Juan Manuel.
Oh, he's a Don Juan.
Yes, he is.
He's a Don Juan. You never piss off a Don Juan. Oh, my word, I'm going to strike. Anyway, never annoy a Don Juan.
Bleep that out.
Yeah.
It's alright because we may be leaving some of this in for the thingy. For
yes.
What's it called? Spotify.
So some versions may get full unedited bleeping.
Maybe.
Not bleeping, but what goes behind it.
The opposite of bleeping.
Yeah.
I just realised I could save myself so much work when I know you're about to swear. I can just go beep.
I was about to say.
Oh my god, I'm a genius.
Yeah.
It's like
Well,
hours of work,
I
easy.
don't know what you're gonna do when I need to fart because like that's happened twice already.
Jesus
and unfortunately,
Christ.
the noise is there. Yeah, you're gonna cut that out. Maria just went. Yeah.
She gets me.
She does. Yeah.
So, his cousin, Constanza's father, Don Juan Manuel, Prince of Vienna, was not Vienna,
I'm with you.
was not best pleased, and for 2 years Juan Manuel waged war against the Castilians, who had kept Constanza hostage until Bishop of Oviedo, Juan del Campo, mediated peace in 1329. So basically, he annulled his marriage to this woman. Her dad was like, no, and went to war with him, and it took a bishop to come in and be like, hey guys, let's chill.
Give peace a chance, man.
Don Afonso, King of Portugal, now enraged by the infidelity and mistreatment of his daughter Maria, because if we remember, he then started cheating on Maria as well.
I don't even know, because that's how men roll.
And sent him back. Sent her back, rather. So Don Afonso, King of Portugal, Pedro's father, forged an alliance with Juan Manuel by marrying Don Pedro to Constanza.
Okay.
According to traditional accounts...
So hold on. This girl married his dad, essentially, and then was made to marry him.
No. So, 2 different kings. So there's Alfonso of Castilla.
Okay. Just for clarification.
Castile.
Yeah. Alfonso, who's Pedro's dad.
And then Afonso, who is Pedro's dad, of Portugal.
Just to clarify.
So there's Alfonso, who was king of Spain before Spain. Well, one of the parts of Spain before Spain.
Yeah.
And then there's Afonso of King of Portugal, who is Pedro's dad.
I just wanted to make that clear because my head went down a rabbit hole so dark, Maria nearly fainted.
And this lady basically...
Married them both. Well, no, she married...
she married both of them. One of the marriages was annulled.
Yeah.
So, anyway...
She'd be passed around like a sack of meat.
Basically,
You got
kind
sacks
of.
of meat? You really
Jesus
don't.
Christ.
Sack of
I might
spots.
have to cut that. That's incredibly misogynistic, mother.
But it's not. That's how
Don't
women
say
were
it's not
treated back.
wrong.
That's how women were treated back then. Unfortunately, the word to use, the historical word to use, is chattel, which that's what women were.
They were used as currency.
That does not make
unfortunately.
it. That does not make it right. It's
No, of course not.
Massively bad thing. But I find it breathtaking how women were
We
just
are not for
used.
misogyny.
Yeah, women were just used as like
We're
right.
not
I'll
4
just
for misogyny. We're 3 for misogyny. I'm sorry. Wait, Maria makes 4. We're not for misogyny.
Maria, tell him off. How dare you? Anyway, yeah, we are not for any of that. Instead, I'm actually marveling with some horror about how a woman of some fairly well repute is just literally being thrown about like she's
She's being thrown about because
she's on an Uber Eats order. Like, what the hell? Anyway.
So, where was I? I've lost myself.
So she married. The marriage was.
No, I know where I am. I mean, in the actual. In case it wasn't obvious, I'm reading this off of a thing that I put together.
Source, yes. Anna has researched hers very extensively with much care.
I even did translating and everything. So there's different information. Funnily enough, this is something I wanted to talk about earlier. A slight off topic, but not really. So, Wikipedia has separate pages for all of these people.
Okay.
And I went reading into all of them. in both Portuguese and English.
I so wish you could see my reaction right now, because my reaction is like, I don't know if I could do that.
And Spanish. I have read their pages in every language. Well, not in every language that they're in, but in those 3 languages. And they have different information in each language.
She's investigating this. She is pure investigating.
So, the only thing I haven't read is the actual source material, which is Fernão Lopes' Chronicles.
Which I'd imagine would be pretty hard to get hold of.
I actually don't think it would be,
I
but...
love how she took that earnestly instead of the sarcastic way it was mentioned. Love you. Yeah.
Love you too. I don't know if it would be that difficult, but I think I'm not sure I would be up for reading
Having
that
read
sort of material.
all the stuff you've read already, especially.
Well, it's more that, yes, but this has been like basically dumbed down, right?
We're not saying people are stupid.
It's kind of no. I'm saying I'm stupid. I'm saying I'm stupid. Are you kidding me?
And I've just lost half.
Bleep that out.
Editing,
Jesus.
your skill. Anyway,
I'm just saying, like, I feel like, it's kind of like reading William Shakespeare stuff,
oh yeah,
right? It's maybe not to the same degree, but this is written
old world Portuguese.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's easier to read it off of Wikipedia than to go to the source material and have to
if
read
it's
it
anything
myself.
like old worldy English, there's far too many vowels in there.
It's maybe not to the same degree, but it's not
There's far
easy.
too many vowels in there.
It's not easy.
Nah.
So so forgive me, I went to Wikipedia and I cross-referenced all of the pages.
She's good that way.
So anyway, back to this.
So Pedro's married to Constanza. That's where we've got up to.
No,
Right.
we got up to the priest bringing
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
that's-
and then they forged an alliance by marrying Pedro
Okay.
to
Yeah,
Constanza.
Yeah.
Constanza.
Cool.
So she's been pimped off.
According to traditional accounts, when Constanza arrived in Portugal in 1340, Inês de Castro, which is our, if you like, if this was a romance book, she would be our female love interest.
Okay.
Um,
I feel I've heard this story before.
Probably. Your dad probably knew this story like the back of his hand.
Okay.
Silence. Okay. So, so when Constanza arrived in Portugal, Inês de Castro, the beautiful and aristocratic daughter of a prominent Galician family, with links, albeit through illegitimacy, to the Portuguese and Castilian royal families, accompanied her as her lady-in-waiting. And thus we have arrived at the crux of the problem. Inês was the natural daughter of Pedro Fernandes de Castro, El de la Guerra, or of the war. And there's several titles. I'm not going to go through them. We'd be here all day. And his noble Portuguese mistress, Aldonza Lourenço de Valadares. Portuguese mistress. Aldonza Lourenço de Valadares. Her family descended from both the Galician and Portuguese nobilities. She was also well connected to the Castilian royal family by illegitimate descent. Her stepmother was Infanta Beatriz de Portugal, the youngest daughter of Afonso de Portugal, Senhor Lord Porto Alegre, blah, 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 and Violante Manuel. There's a lot of titles here. I'm very sorry. Her grandmother was Violent Sanchez de Castilla, the illegitimate daughter of Sancho IV de Castilla. Her great-great-grandfather was Rodrigo Afonso de Leon, the illegitimate son of Alfonso the Ninth de Leon. She also descended from Infanta Sancha Henriques de Portugal, the daughter of Henrique de Borgoña, Conde, or Count de Portugal, and sister of Dom Afonso Henriques, the first King of Portugal. Anyway, basically, she's descended, all of that to say, she's descended from significant families from Castilla, but she's also descended from the guy that crowned himself King of Portugal.
That girl's linked. She's linked.
Although illegitimately.
Yeah, but she knows people.
Little is known about Inês's youth with certainty. She was likely raised in the household of her aunt, Teresa Martinez, wife of Dom Afonso Sanches de Portugal, a natural son of Dinis I de Portugal. So Dinis was Pedro's grandfather.
Okay.
So she was potentially raised by a son of, basically by a cousin,
Okay.
second cousin of, no, an uncle of Pedro's. But through illegitimacy. So basically, Dom Dinis was a feisty one.
Okay.
He had plenty of relationships outside of wedlock, and another Afonso was half brother to Afonso, the King of Portugal, Pedro's father, and he's the one that, well, his wife is the one that raised Inês.
Okay.
Anyway, everyone with me?
I'm with you.
Although it is also supposed she may have been educated in Galicia in the palace of Don Juan Manuel, as it seems probable she lived with Constanza Manuel, the Duke's daughter and Inês's cousin. So the lady that married Pedro, she could have also spent time with her.
Yeah, yeah.
Traditional narratives maintain that Inês arrived in Portugal in 1340 as lady-in-waiting of Constanza de Castilla, like I said, newlywed to Dom Pedro. However, no surviving documentary evidence supports this narrative. Given her family's ties to Portugal, Inês may have already been established at the Portuguese court as a noblewoman before Constanza's arrival. Although the exact circumstances of her introduction are debated, scholars agree that Inês was a member of Constanza's household. So whether or not she came to Portugal as a part of Constanza's
entourage,
she was part of her entourage. At least by the time Constanza became Princess of Portugal.
Okay.
Purportedly, Pedro fell in love with Inês and took her as his mistress, and the two conducted a long love affair that lasted until Inês's murder in 1355.
She was murdered?
Which we will get to.
I think that might be the titular crime.
Maybe.
It's certainly part of it.
Ooh. It gets bigger than that? Okay.
It does. I'm very sorry. There is a lot to
There's a lot of backstory.
There is a lot of backstory.
But to be fair, that's how you
I
write
just
context.
thought, like, all of the... I could have condensed all of this and I could have just said the cool bit. But I thought all of this was really... Despite the name drops and stuff, I thought it was all very interesting how they were all related to each other.
Well, that's often done with royalty. Keep it in the family.
Yeah.
Pretty much,
So there isn't a monarchy that exists today that hasn't had that somewhere down the line.
So true.
So...
And bear in mind, he was the 6th King of Portugal, which we will get to.
like, this is fairly recent monarchy
That's
we're talking about. He's only the
quite
sixth.
bonkers. And they're already really just
Yeah.
keeping
Entrenched with, well, they
Yeah.
came from, he was descended, the first king of Portugal was descended from Castilians and people from Lyon. So, yeah. The Portuguese court disapproved of their romance, obviously,
As they would. Yeah.
for fear of the Castilian influence over Dom Pedro. Under the pretext of morality, Dom Afonso IV, Pedro's father, was against their relationship, not only due to diplomacy, as regarded Constanza's father, Don Juan Manuel, who didn't take too kindly before to his daughter being dissed, if we remember.
Let's not have a round two.
But also due to Dom Pedro's friendship with Inês's brothers, Fernão Ruiz de Castro and Álvar Pérez de Castro. As such, in 1344, hello,
Hello.
Millie Moo.
Hey, kitty.
These are going to be our other mentions, the cats. Hello.
Jesus,
Hello.
Millie, you can't say that. Bleep that out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just wow.
Tell me about it, dude.
She's like, what?
Hello. Oh, I'm sorry. Should I go feed you? I'm so terrible.
I can go there if you want.
If you don't mind, Scott. Otherwise, she's just not going to
Come,
stop.
Millie.
Bye, Millie.
It is time for grub.
Oh,
She
there
knows.
she goes.
She
There
knows.
she goes. She's like, did I hear food? Carry on.
Right, so, where am I? As such, in 1344, Afonso is said to have banished Inês to the castle of Albuquerque, where she had been raised by his half-brother's wife. So basically one of the places where she supposedly grew up.
Yeah.
She was sent back there. However, this did nothing to detain the lovers, who continued to correspond frequently. They just continued to write each other. They could not get enough.
When you love someone, you love someone.
Oh.
Anyway.
We are fast forwarding to in 1349, Constanza died following childbirth complications.
Oos. Oh, yeah.
And in response to this, Dom Pedro went against the will of his father and sent for Inês to return from exile. He was right on that horse.
Oh, yeah, didn't mess about. It's like, right, she's just had my baby, but you know what? I want you. Yeah.
Not only had my baby, but died.
Having my baby. Yeah,
Having my
that was
baby.
never... I find it breathtaking that even today, the difference between life and death when having a child is literally medical knowledge.
Yep.
And that's it.
Pretty
Like,
much.
There are women in countries that don't have the resources that we are lucky enough to have in our civilizations. And there are women in countries who still die having babies because they don't have the facilities that we do. So,
Well, anyone saying like, I hear a lot of Reddit stories, mostly because my husband tells them to me. And hearing a lot of Reddit stories, it's amazing to me how many people, men, yes, but also women, how many people in general are like, well, why don't you do it the natural way?
oh my
It's the way people have done it for years, and it's like, yeah, that's that, and it's also how they died.
God. I'm not averse to
If that's what you want to do,
then go ahead and do it,
then
but
by all
don't
means do
belittle
it, but
other-
don't pressure,
belittle other
don't
people
pressure,
who
don't
don't.
belittle,
yeah.
don't compare
But
yourself.
that's like the whole like I could start a completely different podcast on that, because that's like the difference between breastfeeding and bottle feeding.
I'm sure it will come up
So,
again in this podcast too.
It's one of those that I'm like, okay, don't judge. We're not here to judge. We're here to accept and embrace each other as people. So yeah, this is one particular channel where We leave judgment out the door. Unless we express it and then you can judge us for it. So, meh. Anyway.
And
our engineer
that-
just walks back in going, what the hell?
on
Cancel
that
for-
lovely note, thank you very much, Scott.
So Inês is,
Catch me up.
Pedro's wife has died in childbirth.
Fuck. Leave
So
that out.
the man grieved for all of 30 seconds before going, Inês, come back from
ooh,
exile.
The classic.
Yeah.
So Inês was exiled, Constanza died, and Inês came back from exile.
Okay.
And the two began living together in open secrecy, causing a scandal in court and an all-out battle of wills with the king, who tried to remedy the situation by attempting to set him up with other ladies of the court, all of whom Dom Pedro refused, as according to him, prepare yourselves,
Found the one.
he was still feeling the loss of his wife,
Mm.
Donna Constanza, and so was yet to think of a new marriage.
I think she might have been feeling the loss of his wife.
But he got his second in quick enough.
And Don Afonso, for his part, refused to allow him to marry Inês.
You actually look emotional.
No, this is just a wild ride.
Yeah.
Oh, there's more coming.
Uh-oh.
After some years in the north of Portugal, Pedro and Inês had returned to Coimbra and settled in Santa Clara Palace.
Did she end up pregnant?
The construction of royal rooms inside the monastery.
She ain't done it.
So Santa Clara was a monastery,
Mm-hmm.
and inside it was a sort of palace area.
Okay.
An area for royals, basically.
Are you trying to leave me on the edge of my seat?
The construction of royal rooms inside the monastery had been organised by Dom Pedro's grandmother, Queen Santa Isabel, or Saint Isabel,
Mm-hmm.
and it was where she lived out the end of her life. And she left expressly clear her desire for it to become a residence exclusively for kings and their heirs, and their legitimate wives. And that's where they moved to.
Oh, it's like Henry VIII with Anne Boleyn. Before Henry VIII, bear in mind this is earlier. Before Henry VIII with Anne Boleyn.
So, in the meantime, Inês started to bear Dom Pedro's children.
Oh.
Bearing
she
in
went there.
mind, I will remind you, Constanza died in 1349. This is when she died in childbirth,
Oh, hang on.
right? So remember that when I'm about to tell you, their children were born Afonso in 1346, who died a little after birth, Beatriz in 1347, João in 1349, which is when Constanza died, and Inês in 1354.
What?
So she had two children before the year of Constanza's death. One child the same year as she died during childbirth, and one child in 1354.
So there's a swear word that accurately describes what these children would be
Go on,
born out of wedlock.
Say it in three, and then I'll bleep. Okay, 1, 2.
Bastards!
Okay, good job, everybody.
Yeah.
I worked very hard to keep that word out of. I called them illegitimate children.
I did not.
I tried very hard to keep that word out of. Because that word was in the Wikipedia.
Scott, there's another beep coming up in 3 because I'm not being funny, but that 1, 2, 3 Hoisha really should have,
How dare you?
Well,
Okay, let's not shame.
Bringing
Yeah.
that vulgar language.
I know.
into
Do you know what?
this.
To be fair, she was chattel, just the same way as
Let's
most
not
women were
shame
back then.
women, because you know how you feel about.
He's the Hoisha. Yeah.
You know how you feel about.
Can I use the Portuguese
Boleyn?
accent and call him a Hoishu? Yeah, there we go.
You know how
Pedro the
you know how
Huicho.
you feel about Anne Boleyn?
I love Anne Boleyn. Yeah.
That's how I feel about this girl.
Oh,
Yeah.
hello, Millie.
They
Which-
were just pawns.
Which the only
There's a
difference.
Millie under my blanket.
The only difference.
God knows if she even loved him,
Was
or
that
if
Boleyn's
she was
family
even
were after
invested.
the official title. They were stopping at nothing for the official title. So it's a case of, oh, girlfriend, hold out until once he's got
God
his.
knows if she was even into him or if he was just pursuing her. Do you know what I mean? Like, anyway,
Pedro the Huicho. I'll come back to that.
all of
So-
that being said, although to be fair, his marriage was organized by his father, so he didn't really have a say either.
No.
And bearing in mind, he was very invested in this woman.
Yeah.
Like, this was not like he was.
Historically,
He was
it depends
sleeping
on
around.
because the page there you're referencing talks of a great love affair between the two of them. So it would really be what factually constitutes a love affair. Were they in love, or was it a case of?
Precisely.
Yeah,
Well,
so,
we'll never
we
know.
don't know.
We'll
Yeah,
never know.
We don't know.
But the point being, like,
So
this isn't. He wasn't sleeping around with every skirt.
No.
This was like a lifelong.
But I feel for I have to feel
Although
a
we
little
will
bit
come
for,
back to that too.
Yeah, it depends how long the life was. Anyway, I come back to Constanza and feeling a little bit sorry for her that while she's
of
dying in
course.
childbirth.
Of course.
He's
But I'm
fathering
sure she would have
children
known
elsewhere.
anyway that
It was the done thing.
that it was going on.
It was the done
even
thing.
while she was alive anyway.
It really was. Give a
So-
dictator his chance and he's fathering children all over the place. Anyway,
So anyway,
that you might have to cut.
a lot of that you'll have to cut. Are you
Yeah.
kidding me? Probably that entire conversation.
So, as the most sensitive to what Gen Z will be feeling right now, our editor Scott may have to.
Most of
remove a lot
this you probably won't hear. In any case,
Pray continue.
thank you. Yeah, so the children's birth came to worsen the situation, surprise, surprise, as during the reign of Don Dinis, his son, and Don Dinis was, just a reminder, Pedro's granddad.
Yeah.
During the reign of Don Dinis, his son and heir, Don Afonso IV, Pedro's father, had felt at risk of being passed over for succession to the throne for one of his father's illegitimate sons.
Of course.
There are now 2 cats in the room, and I fear the room is overcrowded.
I fear there may be war about to break out.
She'll leave before that.
Hello, Figaro. How do you do? Me too, bro. Me too.
Anyway,
Silence for the cats. Right, so Pedro's dad felt at risk of being passed over for succession for one of his father's illegitimate sons. Now there were rumours circulating that the Castros were conspiring to murder Dom Fernando, Dom Pedro's legitimate heir. So one of Constanza's children, well, the oldest,
yeah.
was, rumours were that he was at risk of being...
Yeah.
So the Portuguese throne would go to Don Inês de Castro's eldest son.
Okay.
The brothers became increasingly influential in public affairs, and they become the heir apparent's closest advisors, causing intrigue among rival factions at the Portuguese court and threatening Portugal's neutrality in the Castilian Civil War. Feeling threatened by the Castro brothers, the nobles of the Portuguese court pressured Dom Afonso IV to remove this influence over his heir. The king decided the best solution would be to kill the Galician lady.
As she do. Very royal.
Because the woman's got to get it.
Eliminate the reason for the influence.
I apologise sincerely. I called her. I mentioned the word Hoisha because now
It's quite alright.
We have to bleep that out as well.
I'm pretty sure Hoisha's not that bad.
Well,
You not be the judge.
I can explain why it could be that bad.
Let's not. Yeah, let's not.
In an attempt to find out the truth, the king ordered 2 of his advisors to tell Dom Pedro that he could freely marry Dona Inês if he so wished. Dom Pedro realized this was a trap and told them he had no intention of ever marrying Dona Inês. On the 7th of January 1355, the king, using Dom Pedro's temporary absence from their home, went with Pedro Coelho, Álvaro Gonçalves, and Diogo Lopes Pacheco, and others, to murder Inês de Castro in Santa Clara. So he went to their home with 3 men, well, with more than 3 men, but these were the main
Where he unalived her.
Where, as had been agreed during council, he decapitated her in front of one of her small children.
Wow. Oh my. Okay.
According to legend, the tears that fell on the Mondego River over the death of Inês would have created Fonte das Lágrimas, the Fountain of Tears, at Quinta das Lágrimas, the Estate of Tears. And some red algae that grow there would have been her spilt blood.
Damn.
So there's, I'll send you an image later, but basically there's fountain at this place with some red algae on the bottom.
Yeah.
And they say that it's her spilt blood that spilled onto there, and no one's ever been able to erase it, basically.
Aww.
It's actually really sad.
Like, yeah.
The death of Dona Inês caused Dom Pedro to take up arms against his father, and Afonso defeated his son within a year. After months of conflict, Dona Beatriz intervened and was able to establish peace. In a truce, so basically, like, that she managed to
get
bring them back together. Yeah. In a truce signed 15th of August 1356, Pedro swore to obey his father and pardoned the men that murdered Inês. Pedro succeeded to the throne just months later in May 1357.
Did he have his dad killed?
Oh, I said 6th. He was actually... So Dom Pedro became the 8th king of Portugal as Dom Pedro I in 1357. Sorry, what were you going to ask?
Did he murder his dad once he was on the throne?
There's nothing to say that he did, but there's also nothing to say that he didn't. I don't think he did. I think he genuinely meant, for his mother's sake, I think he genuinely meant the peace. But I think I assume the king must have also been unwell.
Yeah.
And maybe he was biding his time.
Yeah.
On the 18th of June 1360, he made the Declaração of Cantanhede, in which is the Declaration of Cantanhede, in which he solemnly declared that he had secretly married Dona Inês on a day in 1354. On a day in 1354 in Bragança to legitimize the 4 children they had together.
Oh,
gosh.
The king's word, as well as that of his chaplain and one of his servants, were the only proof necessary to legalize their marriage.
Wow.
Pedro. I obviously didn't edit this bit very well.
Pedro the Hoishu.
Pedro reigned for a decade and is often confused with his Castilian nephew because of their identical nicknames. Fernão Lopes labels Pedro the Just,
and said that the Portuguese king loved justice, especially the dispensing of it, which he enjoyed doing for himself.
Uh-huh.
Soon after, Dom Pedro hunted down the men who murdered Inês, who had run away to the kingdom of Castilla, and destroyed the village of Jarmelo, where they would have been. Pedro Coelho and Álvaro Gonçalves were caught, and Pedro arranged with his nephew Pedro de Castilla for them to be exchanged for Castilian fugitives residing in Portugal.
Okay.
The Portuguese king conducted a public trial of Pedro Coelho and Álvaro Gonçalves in 1361. After finding them guilty of Inês's murder, they were executed in Santarém. According to legend, one through his chest and the other through his back, they had their hearts pulled out,
Oh my lord.
claiming they did not have one after having pulverized his own heart. Accounts differ, with some claiming the king ripped their hearts out with his own hands, while others say he ordered it done, and he witnessed it while he enjoyed a banquet, which is confirmed by Fernão Lopes, with the caveat that the executioner had dissuaded him of the idea for the difficulty found in this form of execution.
So, for all the Indiana Jones fans out there, this isn't a new thing. Just saying.
It might be true, it might not be.
I feel like heart pulling would have been something like a king would have done to prove a point. You know, like,
well, there was
I love to, you've taken my heart,
all
I
manner
want to take
of-
yours.
Yeah,
And
all
it's
manner
like-
of barbaric punishments existed around that time. You know, the expression to be hung, drawn and quartered comes from a corporal punishment that existed around then.
Yeah, that one sounds pretty bad.
Because they didn't just... They considered pain more important than the actual execution. They thought the pain... They didn't just think you had to be unalived, they thought you had to suffer.
Yeah, it happened to me last Wednesday.
So, you had a bit of drawing and...
Pretty bad, dude.
Yeah, man.
Especially for crimes against the crown themselves.
Oh, 100%. Treason in this country, believe it or not, is the high treason against the crown is still the only offence punishable by execution. The single only offence punishable by execution left in this country.
Let's not tempt fate then.
No, but just it's an interesting historical.
We love you,
thing.
King Andrew.
King Andrew.
King Andrew?
Dude, just did.
Oh no, that's the Peter Pan. isn't it?
Yeah.
Bleep that out.
Wow.
Bleep that out.
Wow.
All of this is not
Wait,
going to
Wow.
what's the one with the fat fingers, Charles?
Charles.
Charles.
We like you, Charlie. Yeah.
Ma-
we're all-
maybe not Andrew, although
Yeah.
he'd probably go for me. I seem like
But
kind of his type.
Interestingly
Um,
enough, there is a comparison here in that Charles ended up marrying a woman that he had been in love with all his life after
Yes, very
marrying and
similar
divorcing
story.
someone that
Very similar
one
story.
he loved. I'm not sure the relationship was quite the same. Well, let's not get into that mess. Like, yeah. But it's a similar setup, just without the heart pulling. So, you wonder from a language, changing the subject and yet not changing the subject, because I'm quite good at that. You wonder where the origin of... Because we have the expression, well, we have several expressions. Eat your heart out, tear your heart out, cry.
I'm sure there's various different stories that you could pull out.
Their origins
That
are somewhere
would be
in history.
origin.
Yeah, there's
that
pull
claim
out,
to be an origin.
pull out.
of it.
No pun intended. Anyway,
There's more, guys.
carry on. I don't know if I can cope with much more. I'm not gonna lie. This is hurting me.
Diogo Lopes Pacheco, the third guy,
Yeah.
was able to escape to France.
Because the French loved... For historical context, France, Portugal and Spain were all at loggerheads. And in a couple of 100 years later, no one started annoying them all like the British.
How we do it the best.
So, yeah.
Jolly good, sir.
It's so funny, these power plays between European countries. Just, why? Anyway.
To be fair, I feel like a lot of people... No, let's not do that. We might have French listeners. We don't know.
We like you.
In the future.
We like you. Anne Boleyn was French. Well, she was raised over there.
I really mess with your cigarettes.
So,
They're awesome.
We're not promoting smoking.
And
do you not smoke?
And you do the best soup ever, and it's literally named French onion soup. Done. Anyway.
So the reason why I debated doing this story is because technically all of the crime that happens in it was either done by the men who ruled the country in the first place. So what do you consider a crime?
Mm-hmm.
And also parts of it are legend.
But I have to ask, what happened to the fourth assassin?
The third, you mean?
Were there only 3?
Yeah.
Oh, I was sugar. I was making an extra one up.
There were others that were there.
Yeah.
But, well, the fourth one was the king himself, who died.
So there were 4. No.
There were others there, but
D'Artagnan and the
they
Musketeers.
didn't. They weren't really involved.
Okay.
Well, supposedly there were others.
They were just they were just stood around eating their popcorn like. Okay.
These were the 3 main men that we know were involved, and yeah, one of them fled to France. Some sources say that after Pedro became king of Portugal, he had Inês's body exhumed from her grave and placed upon a throne, dressed in rich robes and jewels, and forced the entire court to swear allegiance to their new queen.
Yeah, I really like this lady.
The king caused... This is an actual quote, well, translated quote. The king caused the body of his beloved Inês to be disinterred and placed on a throne, adorned with a diadem and royal robes, and required all the nobility of the kingdom to approach and kiss the hem of her garment, though some sources say it was her hand that they kissed, rendering her, when dead, that homage which she had not received in her life.
Oh.
Some modern sources characterize the story of Inês's post-mortem coronation as a legend, and it is most likely a myth, since the story only appeared in 1577 in Jerónimo Bermúdez play Nis Laureada.
Right. Very much like Shakespeare, almost writing parts of our history.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Pretty gnarly scene, though.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, it goes hard.
I'm there going, wow. Yeah, there's no real words for that.
No.
So,
That is one of the most famous parts of the story, is him ripping their hearts out, and one through the front and one through the back, and him crowning her queen and having everyone kiss her hand.
You know how...
But man didn't want to say he would marry her?
When she was murdered.
Well, he said that because he knew that was a trap.
Yeah, but to
by his
what
dad.
end? Like, what if he married her? Then what?
Because then the dad refused to allow him to marry her.
Yeah, so all of a sudden he changed his mind. Said, "Go ahead. Where do I don't
Yeah,
see the
he
fail."
said go ahead as a trap, so that when he said that, he would then
he'd have to give up the throne.
He would have cause to. He would either give up the throne or have cause to kill her. Basically, but he didn't care. He did it anyway.
Like,
so
at this point, her life is in danger, whether they marry or not.
Yes.
Like, so, and I know it's easy for us to say with
but
hindsight.
to be fair, he said that knowing that he had already married her.
But did he?
Yes.
No, he
passed
passed
her
into
to legitimise the children.
Yeah, but I'm wondering because what we know for a fact is that after she died and after he became king, he then said, "Oh, by the way, hey, I was already married," and he swore witnesses to testify to it who would have been coerced or
I mean,
pressured.
sure, but then why would he have done that?
to make sure his heirs were legitimised.
Yeah, but he already had an heir.
But he
A
didn't
legitimate heir.
He didn't want that one. Like,
I don't think that's the case. I don't think it was I mean, yes, that is what they say, it was done to legitimize the heirs, but he didn't need those heirs. He already had one.
He already had one, but one, as any royal family
Sure.
back then, when they die so young and precariously, sorry I used that word, one is not enough.
Sure.
So that would have been a calculated decision to legitimize as many heirs as possible.
Sure.
So that...
But why would he do that knowing that that was against the will of the court?
His dad's not there to overrule him anymore. What's in his way?
Well, anyway, there's
Look at the
supposedly...
interesting discussion this is generating here, please. Thank you.
Okay.
Anyway.
It's less cool if you point it out.
Oh, no, not remotely. Anybody who's laughed at that, anyway. You've probably laughed again.
You put the end in legend, Mum. Jesus.
Yeah. Anyway.
In any case, supposedly, according to legend, he had married her at the point in which he said, yeah, no, me marry her? Never. Couldn't be me.
Yeah. But that's the bit that I'm actually finding the
Yeah,
crux
but
of the
why
case
would
that I'm
he-
actually finding most fascinating.
But why would he lie? I mean, yes, but but why would he have said, if he wanted, presumably he still wanted to legitimize his children back when he was a prince.
But with
So-
Dad alive, it's all about who's in charge. And with Dad alive and him not wanting to
Exactly, but
thingy
what
his
you
dad,
were...
he's going to say, oh, no. And then as soon as Dad's out of the picture, like, hey, I'm going to turn around
Yeah,
and
but
say...
what you were saying, you were making it sound like you didn't think that he was wanting to marry her.
No, what I'm saying is...
He wanted to marry her, he just didn't want the force of his dad to come kill him, basically.
But that's exactly
Or kill
my point.
her, even.
That's
Yeah.
exactly my point. When his dad turned around and went, oh, by the way, go ahead. That's throwing down bait. Like, that's throwing down bait, take the bait. But was he worried about her life? Probably not. Not to say that he didn't love her, but was he worried about his life?
I think
100% why he didn't take the bait.
I think he was
100%.
worried that they would kill her and the children.
And him?
Red wedding style.
Ooh.
Yeah.
We are nearly done.
There's
I
more?
promise.
Okay, go on.
Dom Pedro ordered built 2 splendid tombs for himself and Dona Inês de Castro in the Alcobaça monastery in 1361 or 62. Pedro had Inês's body removed from her resting place in Coimbra and taken to Alcobaça, where it was reburied in the royal monastery. Both tombs are exquisitely sculpted with scenes from their lives and a promise by Pedro that they would be together até ao fim do mundo, until the end of the world.
Oh.
The first position of the tombs was side by side, with their feet towards the sunrise, in front of the first chapel of the south transept, which was then dedicated to São Bento. In the decade of 1780, the tombs were moved to the then recently constructed Royal Pantheon, where they were positioned face to face, and the legend was born that this was so that Dom Pedro and Dona Inês could look each other in the eyes when they would awaken and rise on Final Judgment Day.
Damn.
Don't say people aren't superstitious.
Oh, Portugal is...
Oh, yeah, they love that.
They
Yeah.
loved each other, man.
Superstitious romantics. Yeah.